So you've been here before?
Yeah, five years ago. Those clubs are all pretty much from here. I think there's one that's not. Yeah.
That's good. So let's see if I can retrieve some of the information from last time then.
Yeah, and I've got I've got some shot scope data here as well, which I thought might be useful.
Okay.
Because so primarily I'm struggling with at the top of the bag with the 3 and the 4 iron.
Yeah.
So driver and 3 would have probably two of my best clubs. So happy with those. Perhaps don't see a huge benefit in changing out my wedges at the moment, but it'd be good for you to give me a view on that actually. But I really struggle with the 3 and the 4 iron replacement. So I've got to leave here with a solution for those two. And I thought while I was...
And you're open-minded about what that can represent?
Whether it's a 7 wood, whether it's a rescue, whatever, don't care. Whatever's going to get me the best results.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm in your hands, that's
gotcha.
fine. And I thought while I was here, I should probably have a look at whether or not I'm going to get benefit from changing out my irons as well, which are said 5 years old. But
I think that would always be our start point for a session like this, is to revisit the irons, see where the numbers are, have a discussion. Much changing you, either physically or technically?
Physically, I do suffer with a bad back, but that's manageable.
Yeah, you have treatment.
So I've got arthritis, but I have monthly chiropractor, which keeps me going. I had sort of 6 months off playing golf until I met this chiropractor actually about a year ago, but I've been fine since. Gone from 18 down to 8.
Big.
Since I've been fitted with you, so I'm a better player than I was.
That's good.
When I came here last time.
Nice.
Which is why I thought it was worth looking at the irons. But as I said, in general, actually, pretty happy with them. The big problem I've got is the 3 and the 4 iron.
Yeah.
Massive problem.
Yeah.
I sort of have that little confidence in them. That if
I see. It's also in the notes that you enjoyed the wedge end of the bag, the wedges.
Yeah. Everything's and as I said, and at the very top, driver, I'm still really pleased with 3 wood. I'm one of those people that's probably had about 10 3 woods up until I got fitted for that.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be keen to change that. That's
no,
like a nice
that's good. That's good. So there's a lot of good stories there.
Yeah. As I said, and that's why I've come back, right? So I
okay.
felt like I was well looked after last time.
Well, I got your spec up. It saves me really having to remeasure because I can see the build of it. In essence, what we see as 1/4 inch short for the iron set.
Yep.
37 1/4 inch length.
Yeah, I'm only 5'9".
Wouldn't be too dissimilar to the standard build length for that model at that time. It's 37.5 being what we call standard length. Okay. This is at 37 1/4. Swing weight of D 1.5 on that. Loft was set at 29 and a lie angle of 1 degree flat, 60.5. So that's the sort of base spec for what we did last time. Let's hit some warm-up shots. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're interested in this, but this is the shot scope data that I've got, right? But it just gives you an idea of how ineffective these clubs are for me.
3 irons a no-go, isn't it?
Yeah, although to be honest, because I'm that uncomfortable with it, the only time I'm really using it is if I'm under some trees. I just want to poke something out.
So you can have
that is a bit
spurious.
That is a bit masked if you have a look at it. But still, I mean, it's not where it should be. So those are the problem. And then if you have I've got this sort of utility which, depending on the weather, I sometimes carry rather than the 4 iron, which was gifted to me. So that's the only club that's not been fitted here.
All right.
But again, that's just to lack of confidence in those two.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
All right. Using the yellow balls, just hit some looseness for me. Yeah. Just get yourself moving.
Yep.
And
then it might take a while because I did.
No, that's fine. That's why. That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
I'm a bit stiff from that on the car journey. Where's the sort of line? Is it on the tears? Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we will hit when we start to get numbers for real. It'll be around that area you're at now. But just get yourself moving first, and then we're going to get some 6 iron numbers in a short while.
Okay.
But it's nice to revisit that iron first, and then we can build towards finding those alternatives for the long iron.
Yeah.
Where'd you play your golf?
I'm a member at Leamington and County. I've come from Leamington Spa. So it's about an hour and 40 to get here. There's a bit of traffic, but it wasn't too bad. I sort of deliberately picked this time, so hopefully beat most of the traffic there and home.
Yeah. So you saw Simon last time, I see.
Yeah, but you did the Lofts and Lies when I came back, actually.
Did I?
We did it upstairs where the...
right, okay, yeah. That sort of time, yeah.
Yeah, it was before you had this bit.
Ooh. So, in terms of the last few years, had much in the way of coaching, or?
A bit, yeah, a bit of a little bit at the with my club pro, but not loads. Not loads.
And what sort of stuff did you work on?
It can be quite tactical. So, like, if I'm struggling with the driver, just a bit of a reset, or.
So it's more course management.
Yeah, and.
Not much in the way of technique, or.
Not huge, Matt. No, if I'm honest.
Okay. That was a nice contact.
I think a lot of that is time as well, right? When I get free time, I try and play. I've got 4-year-old twins, so it's at a premium golf time.
The only thing I'm picking up on in what you're doing there, that's either a habit or something that you feel inclined to do, you grip over the end of the grip. You grip out beyond the end of the grip.
Yeah.
I never like to see that because it's always a look of instability to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Where the pad on that left hand, the heel of that left hand, shouldn't really go above the red cap that's on that grip. That's it there, yeah? Okay. That's my one observation, really.
Only one?
Well, I think it's the obvious one. Because it always looks like what you're doing, you're making the club obviously play longer, you're making it play heavier, because the longer you grip up it, the heavier it gets, yeah? So you're almost playing it almost like a length longer than what we set as a spec. That's better. Get to a point where you're ready to get numbers, and then we'll introduce a 6 iron.
Okay.
Now, one thing I've also noticed is that these are different grips to the original build. So you've obviously had these replaced, haven't you?
They got a bit shiny.
Yeah, but the profile itself is slightly different.
Really?
Yeah. So the grips you had before was the Golf Pride VDR.
Yeah.
The ones with those sort of lines on the front side.
Yep.
This grip is the multi-compound +4. So the section, the slightly less taper to that grip. So it plays a little bit thicker in the lower hand to where your previous one was.
What difference will that make?
Sorry?
What difference will that make?
Potentially keeps your right hand a fraction more quiet, a little bit more passive. Anyone who's, for argument's sake, say someone's always had that tendency to be a little bit more active with the right hand, a little bit more left, shut face. Often the argument of being a little bit thicker in the lower hand, it tends to just pacify that hand a little bit.
Can't get anything away, Simon.
Yeah, it was basically men's standard with a standard taper with that VDR grip. That's what you had before. Getting there?
Dunno.
That's a good move.
Yeah, that was better.
That's a decent strike. Yeah? So I'll just clear the screen. So now we're going to introduce, what ball you've been using?
Normally use a Pro V.
Yeah?
Well, like 95% of the time, unless I find something on the course.
Okay. Well, that's what we got here. Pro V1s. These are the RCT version where TrackMan sees the spin very accurately. That's what we'll use. There is your 6-iron. I'm just going to double check the aim, make sure it's not been knocked since lunchtime. So just bear with me, I'll just double check the aim. But when we do come to hit shots, the target line on the screen is going to represent the aim for you. That's spot on. And away we go. Good move. You know what you are, Richard?
What?
Good in front of the camera.
I was told I had a face for radio.
A little bit heavy.
Pulled it.
So did you get fitted at a slightly different time for the 3 and 4?
The 4, no, the 3, yes.
Okay.
Trying to think. I think trying to think when the 4 was.
It just looks like
I sort of got.
According to the notes, the 3-iron was added May of that year,
Yeah.
when the fitting was the previous July.
I sort of got. I think came here for the irons first, liked them. Came back for the woods. Came back for the wedges, something like that. I can't quite remember, but it wasn't too far
Yeah.
out. But I can't remember the exact.
Yeah. I think
didn't
we
realise
went
it was
ahead, by the
5
looks of
years
it, we went
until
ahead with the 4-iron initially,
Yep.
and then went and added the 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that looks like what's happened.
I couldn't quite remember it was the dates either. It was only when I called up to check.
Initial fit was July 19.
Okay. Let's go this way. fat, wasn't it?
A little bit heavy, yeah. I mean, I think it all depends. I've had this conversation with so many people. If you look at where your angle of attack was on the first two, you're averaging about 3 degrees down. Some of the latter stuff has been shallower, and you tend to bottom out a little bit, maybe a little bit heavy at times, you know?
Which makes it hard for you, doesn't it?
Well, the first two are our indicator of performance in many respects. I mean, you gave me two almost identical numbers from the first two shots.
What were they?
Yeah, they were good numbers. That's a bit better.
Better.
Okay. All right. So I can't comment on where your numbers were and where your method was all those years ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you started off like a train. The first two hits, like I said, were almost identical. If you look at those two numbers,
Yeah, yeah.
would you say your miss is a little bit left?
Yeah.
If you had a miss,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Definitely, yeah. Oh, I definitely have misses.
yeah. But I see your miss being a left,
Yeah.
left miss rather than none of that information was right, other than the necky ones. That's a different kettle of fish. But the majority of shots fall left of target.
Yeah.
So your angle of attack, as I said, across those two shots, you're in a quite good place there, 3 degrees down. Your path 0.3 out to in, pretty neutral to be fair. It's only a hair either side of target line, you know. But the face is 2 degrees close to that path, which is going to be predominantly left.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am trying to hit a bit of a draw. That is what I'm trying to hit at the minute.
Yeah, although the path needs to be a plus number there if you're going to hit a true draw.
Yeah.
Because you want your start point to start right of target to fall back onto target line.
Yeah.
So in ideal, let's say it was 2 degrees into out, you'd want that to be a -1, then you've got a little draw back to target line, yeah? If you were to look at some of these lesser numbers, if we look at that shot, for instance, your path, you can fall either side of that target line. That's a slight plus with a shut face. There's more inside. Again, out to in. So it's not like you have one predominant path. You fall just a hair either side. But that's all right.
Yeah.
As long as your face control is relatively good, you're only just a hair either side.
Okay.
I don't see you as a genuine fader or drawer. I see you can hit like a 2-yard fade, a 2-yard draw, depends on where that path and face is at any one time. I don't see you as a stock fader or drawer. You are so neutral as an overall path.
Natural easier shot for me is probably a fade, but lose so much distance I try not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to just referring to these two numbers, that's where our speed is, yeah?
Yeah.
It's an okay ball speed, but I still think there's at least 2 or 3 miles an hour from an absolute optimum in ball speed. But the flight itself is in quite a nice place. That launch and spin I see as quite a nice flight. Height-wise, where are you? 85 feet on average there. I would say with the extra momentum might come a little bit of extra height, but it'd be height to good effect, yeah? So let's say where your club speed is, a nice height of 90 feet would be a nice height for you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I don't see that gaining that height from necessarily high launch and spin. I see it coming from just that injection of ball speed. The ball having that little bit more momentum.
Yeah, I'd agree
You'll
with
find the height more naturally. Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's where it's at really. If you had to define it, you'll say on a good swing, the number's in a reasonably good place, but it'd be nice to test the water to see what we can do.
Those
as a
are the
comparison.
numbers that I'd probably expect on a good swing as well,
Yeah.
in terms of the distances. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it matches
I
up with what your totals were
Yeah,
on
I
your.
don't have all that on course, right? But I do track my distances, and they're the numbers that I'd probably be thinking is
Yeah.
be aiming at. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just nice testing the water just to see what's out there as a comparison.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't mind just playing around a little bit with the shaft as well, just in case we touch upon something for where you've obviously got better and potentially you might have even got quicker, just to see in shaft weight terms whether there might be an option as well. But we'll just play around for the next half hour, just playing around with things before moving on to our discussion of those replacements, yeah?
Yeah, no worries.
So rather than this one I'm going to give you, rather than you gripping out the end, because our demo shaft might be a hair longer already, just grip it correctly.
I was going to say, I can't seem to get my hand down there for you. Feels quite unnatural. Fat.
It might be the fact you enjoy a slightly thicker grip. By going up the grip, you're looking for a slightly thicker part of the grip.
No, I think you've picked up on something that is. It was the same with the other grips. I did come up here, definitely. Do the same on the driver as well.
You're right.
Yep.
Right, just one sec while I set up a separate set of shots, and then we're. This is essentially the updated version of the head that you've got. So
Okay.
what used to be AP2 is now the T100. So it's a bit slow, so just bear with me.
Yeah, they look nice, don't they?
Yeah, probably less change, say, between T100 and what was AP2. They've introduced a new model this year called T150, what was previously the T100S. That's with a little bit more forgiveness, weight taken a little bit more out behind the face, with an elastomer slot, a slot with elastomer in it, so to speak. The shaft I've given you is fractionally heavier. It's the next one up really, it's the Neo, yeah? Slightly higher balance than the original N50.
Yeah, I can definitely feel the extra weight. Let's try and start one right at the target, shall we?
Not a bad start. There's your draw.
Yeah.
That is a true draw.
I aimed at.
Your path was fractionally from the inside with a fractionally closed face. So that's quite a nice number, that. Yeah. And that is a new number. Just picked up 6 yards in the air there. And not because you're moving any quicker, but there's more strike there. Yeah?
Yeah.
This move's nice. Already you've hit 3 shots better than what you did through the whole of that set of yours, unfortunately. A little bit smothery, that one. You had the ball speed there, you just shut the face down. I see that as your, let's say, your weak shot.
Yeah, definitely.
You do get a little bit shut on the face angle. Tell you what though, I know I cherry pick some of your better shots. If I reintroduced everything, you'd appreciate that that's quite a steady set of numbers for a club you've never swung before.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And these are interesting numbers. These, if you can start comparing, let's say the optimum against the optimum.
The bad ones, yeah.
I thought it swung very well. What I sense with yours is it gets a little bit that way at times, almost like if I put a bit more weight in your hand, could you sort of set it a little bit better and release? Yeah?
Yeah.
It's only a marginal thing, but in essence it's about, I don't know, 9 grams heavier as a shaft compared to...
I can feel the weight on it, definitely.
I like the way you move that. Yeah, that is a little bit left, but
And that one.
so let's just compare, because I want to compare the better ones that you hit with your own as a comparison with what you've just done there. Yeah. 113 ball speed. Like I said, I haven't got an issue with the flight. I think the flight's in a relatively nice place. I said, if I could give you a little bit more ball speed, we might get a better peak height purely for the momentum that's on that ball, not through extra launch and spin as such, but just having a little bit better strike. I'm going to take that one out only because it's a slightly inflated number, because it's a little bit shut. There was nothing wrong with the contact, but for the purposes, it's that against that. Yeah. We've suddenly got what I see as more of an optimum smash. Yeah. It's not that you moved it quicker. You moved this one around about 2/3 of a mile an hour slower, but the ball speed is about 1.5 miles quicker. So in other words, the efficiency side of it is a little bit better.
Yep.
It's a slight hill strike. It could be better again, if you, yeah? I think personally, you're swinging on a plane that is relatively flat. I sense that the club's part of the issue here at left is your swing plane is a shallow swing plane, and the club, even though we made it all that time ago 1 degree flat, I think there's a case here for the clubs being a bit flatter as well.
I would have just hit a fade back then as well. That was it. I couldn't hit a right to left shot.
What comes with it, a move that's more predominantly that way, is often the shaft angle is steeper. Yeah.
I'd have probably been this sort of setup.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to be a bit more.
But address and impact are two different things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
My point is that just based on what TrackMan sees as your dynamic lie, that is on the flat side.
Yeah.
And if it's on the flat side, there's two effects. One, the face is effectively pointing further left if you're going to produce that sort of dynamic lie. And when you do catch it heavy, it feels like the face just shuts on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, have you ever seen this demonstrated? I'll get a magnetic rod.
Yeah, I have.
You've seen the effect of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's part of the story here. I reckon whatever we do, I think the line needs assessing anyway. Because I just got this gut feeling that something a little bit flatter would get the start point better and the strike point better. But I haven't got an issue with the ball speed side of things here, yeah? All these ball speeds are better with this combination.
Yeah.
Yeah? How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Yeah.
Good to see you. Yeah, not too bad.
Finally got around to picking it up.
Oh, yeah. Good swing. Right. So that's all we're going to do now. I think we've found something that's not a bad combination. Yeah? It's playing around a bit. I'm going to push it out a little bit here now, see how the next shaft's a bit heavier again, and see to what extent it impacts the performance.
Okay.
It's a Modus 105 here now. Oops. Oops. Oh, that's a good number.
Pushed it.
Convinced though. I mean, I think part of this is lie. The planes that you're finding. Good bad one that.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't feel.
No, you picked up a half decent number for where you hit it on the head.
Didn't think it was going to end up there.
The worrying bit, I think if you'd have found me, right, from that very first shot, I went, wow, if he repeats that, because it looked such a nice golf shot. It was a genuine little draw. Strike point was absolutely on the money. It found a different number. I haven't seen it on the last 4 shots, whether it's one shot in isolation, but the first number was absolutely superb. See, for me, I do think it's a little bit more in isolation. What you achieved with that first shaft I gave you was a much steadier sort of performance.
I don't know why I'm shanking it. Another one.
Swing plane though, it's give you an example there. The shaft is laid down so much more impact. That's throwing the club further away. The toe is more up in the air. The likelihood is you're just not going to introduce the center of the face to the ball. It's always going to be more necky. See, that's a different noise on that one.
Yeah, that was a better one.
That sounded really nice. Again, more of a centre hit there. But you swung, the shaft plane was different, you see. That was a bit more upright at impact, the shaft plane. Okay. One more shaft. Yeah. I mean that the first shot was just gold. Ball speed, 143 smash as well. Flight a little bit stronger, but still a manageable flight. Picked up a bit of distance. In height terms, it's 89 feet. Yeah. That's 9 feet higher, but it's 9 feet higher for having more momentum than anything else.
Yep. Shame I couldn't repeat it.
Well, there was some other decent contacts, but I would still say that the first shaft was a nice change because it was a more manageable change for you. It was a hair heavier, but it's something you controlled shot to shot a little bit better. Yeah. I'd rather have that as than the one in isolation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, another change there. Slightly different in that, yes, the weight's there, but it won't feel heavy as a club to swing. This is a KBS Tour 110. See, the one thing I will say, as shafts have got heavier, it promotes for you more the move from the inside on in path terms, yeah?
Yep.
How would you describe that in swing terms? Yeah, what it feels like in a swing, this shaft?
I mean, it feels fine. I could definitely feel the extra weight.
Yeah. No, the reason I say it, because if you look at, as I've,
that wasn't a bad
if I've
connection.
increased, your shaft we know, the Nippon 850, sub 90 gram shaft, yeah? Your path is 0.2 across. I introduced the 950, your path suddenly is 3 degrees from the inside. The next shaft I gave you is 2 degrees from the inside, the next one's 3 degrees from the inside. So as I've given you weight in the shaft, your path line is promoting more that genuine draw shape. If you're looking for that shape of shot, you can see why that might be a good change. Because as it's lighter, yeah, it might get out more in front.
Yeah. That's
fine if you're moving, say for instance you're someone who's genuinely too much from the inside. You might want to go more the other, anything that keeps it a little bit more in front of you and more down the line. But for someone who you said you're trying to, ideally you'd like to see a little draw. But you want it starting right at target, obviously.
Yeah. Certainly a shot I'd try and hit ahead of like a lofty fade, just for the, if nothing else, for the distances, right? Because it's a more powerful shot. So it's probably what I work on at the range more than trying to hit a fade.
That you held off better.
started it further right, didn't I?
That's quite a nice number, that. Okay, not sure. I'm not sure. Again, I would say this is a little bit more hit and miss.
Yep.
I like what we did. That very first shaft,
The orange
I
one.
thought was a nice change without being a drastic change. Yeah. So in other words, going from a Nippon 850 to a Nippon 950, but in the Neo version. So let's pop that back in.
Couldn't get water from somewhere, could I?
Yeah, sure. In ideal world, what I'd love to be able to do is give you this club back, but with a lie angle that's at least 2 degrees flatter.
So
But unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to bend that because I'll break the bond on it and the head will fall off. So, but I'm convinced if we were to check the lie, I'm convinced that any change here in conjunction with a flatter lie angle would be a good change. Yeah? This is the one. This swings so well now. Yeah?
Yep, that felt good.
That's one of your best numbers.
Yep.
Oh, there she is again. What a good change that is. Look at that, those two back in the pile there. So really consistent. Good, bad one.
Yep, not quite as good.
Not perfect, but still effective.
Yep.
That.
Take that on course.
This is the interesting thing. That number you just picked up is equivalent to the best numbers you picked up with the current one. It's a good miss.
Yep.
It's a good miss.
So, I mean, the TR, that's what the launch and spin are in a good window. They're in nice places.
Same, I think.
Ooh, a little bit more smothery.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear more of the ground.
Yeah.
See, in terms of that, what you did on that swing is a bit more underneath it and a bit more, not up on it, but you've lost, from being inside, you've lost the angle of attack, yeah?
Yeah.
We don't want way from the inside, because it'll work against us. A fraction from the inside, yes, but but for me, what I would say, in putting that back in your hands, yeah, if you base it on the 3 shots that you hit in putting it back in your hands, this shot here, yeah,
Yep.
that shot there, and this being a lesser one, still decent. I look at the way you've reacted to that in swing terms, in going back to it. There's definitely a real story of the way this shaft enables you to swing a little bit better.
Crossed it a bit, didn't I?
I think if I was going to get you to do something, I'd just get out the bits relating to your grip. There's 2 things. The gripping out the end of it is one, but there's also the sort of mini re-grip just prior to taking the club away. In changing the grip pressure, you'll change the face angle, yeah? So more of a steady pressure on the takeaway is another thing that I would sort of recommend, but
Okay.
these are subtle little.
That's better.
Yeah, yeah. But let's just look at these numbers. Yeah. There's two things going on. If you went through all the numbers, there is predominant heel strike. But what I would also say is, if you look at where your dynamic lies, everything suggests that the club needs to be flatter. If it's flatter, the strike point will gravitate a little bit more to the centre.
Yeah.
The start point will be a little bit further right. You've got to say, yes, everything falls left of target, but the combination of the lie change I see as improving strike point and improving the initial start point on for the ball. They go hand in hand with that
sure.
lie change. Yeah?
Yep. That makes sense.
But I do like what you've achieved with that shaft. It's a little bit heavier and stronger than what you've had before.
Yep.
But that's logic. You know, I wouldn't say where your speed was or your tempo was 4 years ago, but you said you've become a better golfer.
Yeah, yeah.
And what comes with a better golfer
handicap
might have the want of a slightly stronger, heavier shaft. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
In terms of where your lofts are, in terms of where your spec of your AP2s are, I don't think, the lie is one thing, but I don't think we're ever going to fall into a head that's a souped up, hot face, strong loft. You need loft on your irons. You want a more conservative, let's say a forgiving players
Yeah, I'm
club.
happy with that, don't worry.
Yeah, yeah.
Forgiving's good, I think.
Huh?
Forgiving's good, I think.
Yeah, but my point is, I mean, you give me your best number. It's not like you're giving me 21 launch and 6,000 spin on a 6-iron.
Yeah.
You're around that 5,000 spin mark with around about anywhere between 17 and 18 degree of launch, sorry. You're doing it off of what is conservative loft on the 6-iron, yeah? Just to put that in perspective, here's a really nice, let's say, forgiving players club, but I'd be very interested to see what happens to the flight on this one compared to the likes of AP2, what is now T100, yeah?
Okay.
So that's the Srixon ZX7.
That's a bit lighter, yeah?
Head weight, your other iron, when I measured it, was D1.5, which is a very similar swing weight to where you had your irons in the first place. That was nice. But there is my case in point, right? The moment I've given you a characteristic on the head that's stronger spin, the total distance is up, but the carry is down because the spin rate, you've lost essentially 400 or 500 revs from somewhere with a stronger initial launch. same deal.
Yeah,
That's
that was a decent.
This is where it's not about sheer distance and numbers. According to that, look, it's carried the furthest and it's gone the longest distance, and it's one of your best ball speeds, if not the best. But you've got to see it for what it is. It's 15.6 on the launch. It's less than 4,500. You can't carry that over into a longer club. We've already got an issue we need to address on 3 and 4. We've got a 5-iron to try and carry. On that basis, it's a bit more of that hit and miss. And when you get it, yeah. But that's not a good differential there, yeah? That tells me the flight's a little bit too hot a flight.
Okay.
I sort of almost done that just as an example of a good quality head. If you were someone who creates a lot of spin, it could have been a really good, effective change. But you aren't that sort of person. So yes, that green one looks like the longest in carry. But what you got to remember, when you put the optimizer on that particular shot, basically it gives you really, it categorizes it as a type of flight.
Okay.
Let me just show you the side profile. So based on a low trajectory, you can see it falls in that category flight-wise, yeah? The mid trajectory, you can see how it's much shallower through the mid part of the flight and it's shallower here. Yeah. It looks great in terms of optimization, but it's not telling you the whole story, because you've essentially lost height, you've lost control. If you're going to play in firmer conditions, there's going to be an issue there. You want that ball landing with a better land angle. So if you were to look at the land angle side of things here, where it is 41.6, that's for me 4 or 5 degrees light, 5 degrees light of where I want a 6-iron to be. Yeah. When I look at this shot here, for instance, yeah, which is with this shaft and the T100 head, which is the up-to-date version of what you got, then we look at that same land angle. Hey ho, look, hit the number. I said 46, and there it is, and there's the 91 feet. That performance there, in terms of what I see as a differential, I see that as a good differential on TrackMan. In reality, it's less than that. But it's my golden rule on TrackMan, the 10-yard rule. For someone with a moderate speed like yourself, when this is 10 yards, you know you're in a good place. Yeah? There's your height I said I wanted you to achieve. You've achieved it. There's your land angle, which is textbook. That's why that head doesn't work. Yeah?
Yep.
The next head could well work. Got good vibes about this one.
Got to try and hit it then, haven't I?
Huh?
Got to try and hit it then, haven't I? Been a bit hit and miss so
Just
far.
check the balance on that. Might. So this is the Ping I210. Strange little pass on that. Didn't present too much loft on that one. Yeah. You'd probably say, actually, I'm surprised at that. It's a little bit more the same effect as that Srixon head I gave you, in that the launch is down, the spin is down, yeah?
That one felt like quite a good strike actually.
Yeah, yeah, but it is that characteristic of a lower launch and spin. I don't really want it there.
So you kind of find that middle ground like that last swing, delivering a little bit off of it, and then start that face to the hair, and you start to square that off of it, then that might come down or again. That head straight away, but taking the
What I will say, there's two routes here. Finding a shaft that's better in conjunction with a lie change, that I see as a change on your heads, or it's whether you feel the need to take it a step further with what is the up-to-date version of what you've already got.
Yeah.
I think the head, your head, and what I offered are in a good place. Some of these other heads, I could give you a blade in terms of giving you the right loft, but I'm giving away any form of forgiveness. We want
Not
the
good enough for that, I
level.
don't think.
We want that level there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the one thing I will say in favour of yours, see that? See the blade length?
Yep.
See your blade length's just that hair longer?
Yeah.
That looked probably a bit smaller on your eye. I don't know, have you not picked up on that, but
No, didn't.
it is, if you look at
No,
that,
I can see it from there, yeah.
it's just that little bit
I
shorter,
didn't
it's a
think
bit
about
more
it when I
compact.
was holding it.
Quite like the look of yours, actually. They're a good look.
Yeah.
Face performance, has it changed a bit? I'm not quite sure if they, how they've done it, but I'm noticing this year's series a little bit quicker than the previous.
Yeah, I was in American Golf the other week and they're spinning me a yarn on it.
They were?
Just chalking it up.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there's less of a difference between T100 now and what was AP2. But when you start looking at things like T150s or what was T100S for 2 series, or the T200, then I can get you to hit the ball further. But it has for me a detrimental effect on what it does in launch and spin, the land angle, your control element of it, particularly when you've got to carry that performance over into a 5-iron.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I see it as two routes. New set with that shaft, or rebuild with that shaft. But whatever we do, we need to discuss this lie angle where it needs to be.
Okay, makes sense.
I'm going to move you back to your own purely because I want something I can adjust and get to a point where we've made a good decision on the lie.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to use a softer ball only because it's easier to compress and it's more identifiable on the compression. So we use a softer ball here.
Okay.
So it's a good ball to do it with actually, because I've got that red line. I can put that
Mirror.
across there.
Yeah.
I'm going to use yours because we've got a decision on the upgrade or a potential rebuild. But at least I can get to a spec with yours. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just going to redo that just slightly, just the angle's a little bit off. There you go. You could hear that softer ball, couldn't you?
Yep. Definitely.
So,
Oh, sorry.
right. So it's difficult to get
Still off the back.
yeah, still on the hill, but can you see the lines not parallel to that? It's running a little bit of an angle that
Yep,
way.
can.
Yeah. So what it basically means for me to get that back to a vertical line, I've got to do that.
Yeah.
Where's the toe? It's in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what comes with that will not only change our start point in general, it will actually have a slight effect of getting your strike point a little bit more central.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Of course it will.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do it one more time.
Got them.
See if you repeat that. But it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I need some golf lessons.
Hmm?
I think I need some golf lessons.
Well, if you cross-section better players against lesser players, better players swing generally on a flatter plane compared to lesser players. So, if that's, you know, you're in the category of better rather than lesser.
Well, at least that's something.
There you go.
Cheers.
Oh, just notice. It's great when you do it with this red
to
red
get-
line because it's so obvious what's
Do you want
vertical.
me to get that off?
No, don't leave that. Leave that. Just see if you repeat it. Well done.
Pretty close.
It's actually probably the nicest shot you've hit
Yeah, it was
with
about-
your own.
Better shot, yeah.
But look,
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say pretty close lines, aren't they?
but it's that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
For me to get that line there vertical, I'll show you that on the camera.
Just strengthen the loft. Get closer. Get closer. Down.
Yeah. So it's showing. So it's running a little bit more from heel to toe as an angle. What that's basically saying is that for me to get that back to vertical, I've got to do that. Toes in the air, which is encouraging heel strike, encouraging left. Because the tilt aspect, the loft, ideally you want to introduce something where it's making contact centrally. So it's a win-win.
Yep.
Start point's better,
Yep.
strike point's better. I'm now going to adjust this to a flatter lie
Go on then.
and see what we get.
See how we get on.
Okay, so actually what you're doing current was more 5 out to in 4 close. And a good fight with the 4 close is turn the loft off. With 140 ball speed, you're up 3 miles an hour ball speed. But you now got a square face and you've got pretty much a strong club. With the one where you get the club face through the square heading even over there. So it's the heavier shaft is definitely dropping more to the right. But then the slightly smaller head, slightly lower head, and as you said, it's up through the line of the head, fly forwards rather than, you know, it's requiring you to get on top of it and de-loft it to get the flight. So that then starts to sort of say, well, okay, from those sort of shots, that, well, if you start playing the right side of the field, so you do on that screen.
So what I want you to do is forget about the line at the moment. Let's hit some shots and see if the strike point is better and the start point is better.
Okay.
Yeah?
The flip is that if mentally you know you're going right, then you try to get it going left.
It's also the moment I can get shot down in flames, but I don't think that's quite the lie
No.
change there.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, just on half down to 2 degrees. So it's yeah, from where you go out. When you set that square, it's a bit of a problem. Yeah. That closed. Is that a little higher on the face? That
I think you were more focused when I had the line on the ball and you concentrating on a single shot. Let's just get this line back on here. There you go. That sounded better. That was a nice contact. Yeah. That is actually a strongish number. I think that might just about be the best ball speed you've had with your own. There you go. Yeah.
Fat.
Bit high on the head there.
Yeah, fat.
You can see the contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, so it's a little bit more vertical.
Yep.
Won't go by that one. Let's get a good contact, but already that line was a little bit more, let's say, vertical. There you go.
Cheers.
See, I think if that been more upright, you were in real trouble with that shot. Because, yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now I've flattened this off. This is 2.5 degree flat. Would you say that line is running that way?
No.
No, it's not. If it was too flat, the line would be here,
Yeah, yeah.
and essentially to get that vertical, the toe would be down. But there's no way in the world that I would say it's a little bit more vertical.
Yeah.
Just show that to the camera. It's a little bit necky as a strike. Yeah, but a little bit more vertical. You definitely need a light, flatter lie. It saved you that shot.
Yeah.
By being a bit flatter.
Yep.
You'd have taken that as a miss there.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah.
It probably feels better as well. You know, when you sit it down, you don't feel so much that way. Yeah? So there's logic to the lie change as well.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
What I'll do...
I don't think there's any point in keeping and spending the money on, you know, like they've had somewhere. I think it's
The new head is a very, very... I would say there's a fraction more ball speed on the new version compared to the older versions.
I think it's new or come back in a year, Mark. I don't think there's any point in messing around and keeping these for another 5 years.
No.
I think it's new or
Yeah.
or come back.
But you know, I'm only offering the options.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
understand why, but I don't think there's any point.
And you know, they are nice looking heads, these.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, these have had some wear now, mate. Play twice a week.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But that's where there's the opportunity to introduce the new shaft on a new build. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that or nothing, mate.
but the lie angle is a critical part of that change. Yeah. What I will do, not do it now. I'm sure James don't want me to see me adjust the loft and lies for the next 20 minutes. I will adjust your lies to get you going at the end of this session.
Okay.
So that at least that way you know your lies are better based on this spec.
Okay.
Yeah? At least that gets you going. All right, but I'll save that for the end.
Fine, thank you.
Let's crack on more with the changes
Yeah.
that we need to make now.
Yeah, because I can actually hit the clubs, believe it or not. I haven't showed as well today, but I can actually use them. But the 3 and the 4 are a major problem for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it might seem a little bit sadistic, but we're going to try and hit them. I want to know what we're dealing with.
And then let's try the
Yeah?
4 first.
Just going to clear the screen a little bit for us, so it's a little, not quite as messy.
Wasn't a bad one.
Don't worry, I haven't lost it. Actually, to be fair, and that really was quite a nice ball speed you got off that.
It's not necessarily too much.
That was a neutral one. That should be right turning back on. So what you can say, the 4-iron's not a complete disaster.
No, it's not.
But
But,
based on the numbers I'm seeing, I think you used that Callaway ball on that shot.
I did. I used it on all
yeah.
of them, yeah. So I put the Titleist.
Yeah, it's only because I couldn't see the spin properly on that.
Which one is it? Is it this one?
Yeah, any one of the Titleists, yeah. Yeah, so what I would say is you have to get quite a nice face angle to give you as much loft as possible for that club. The moment it's remotely shut.
And the problem is it could be anything from 160 to 185 for me.
Yeah, yeah. But all your best shots, when you get that face angle correct, you see more flight, carry, all the numbers are better. Whereas at the moment, even though that's not a poor contact, it's a lot of movement. It's because of that, it's only 49 feet in height. If you give me a good face angle where the face is pointing a little bit further right, then you're going to give me potentially a lot more height, a lot more carry. And it's not like you're missing these. They're not terrible hits as such, but
No, the 3-iron will be a different story though.
well, it's not going to get easier, is it?
No.
And you take another 3 degrees of loft off of it. That's an interesting shot you've just hit there. Yeah? That must have felt quite nice in contact
Yeah, I was going to
terms.
say that felt pretty good.
But do you want, this is what I'll say, if you look at this number, do you want this from a 4-iron? Something that's carried 180, but because of the nature of where the launch and spin is, it projects a big number, but that's not what you want the club to do. You would rather see that at 190 and that at 205. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Where there's more flight on it. Yeah.
And the problem is I've not got any confidence to use it off the ground. I mean, it's all right off a tee, probably off a mat, but on
If you see height, you feel more confident about it, pure and simple. Yeah? It doesn't matter how good what's disconcerting is if you feel a good contact, but you don't see what you want to see in flight terms.
Yeah.
That's where what you just put in the category of not forgiving and not working as well as you want it to.
And it means on course I'm 3 wood if the line's nice, or it's down to a 5 iron, and then that whole distance in between I'm screwed. So that's it's costing me a lot of shots really.
I think we've got
sort of
for me,
190
the
to
obvious,
220 I'm struggling.
the obvious start point here, the obvious first step is to see some hybrid numbers.
Yep.
For me, yeah. We'll concentrate on the 4.
Yep.
See, that one you got further right,
Yep.
and as a result, you got more flight, more carry. That's carried 192.
That's a good
If
shot.
you did that again and again, I go, well, hold on. Yeah, but I did say it falls. You haven't got that sort of margin of error.
No, I said I can hit it. It's
Yeah.
just so rare. I think sod it, I'll put it in the bag.
But I said all along, though, you give me face angle,
Yeah.
you get performance.
Yep.
Yeah. Even then, that's still probably not what you want from, let's say, 200 back.
No.
You would rather see a softer flight in, wouldn't you? That was quite good as well.
Yeah, that was good.
But still.
To be fair, I'll tell you what, when I was here, I was asking for something that was lower that I could use off the tee, because I do go away quite a bit and play a bit of links golf. But it's not frequent enough, I don't think, to base the whole setup around it.
Dare I say it, if it was purely off the tee, that's where your 3-iron is a different. If you had to peg up your 3-iron with the purpose of hitting it down a fairway, you wouldn't feel so bad about it, would you?
No, that's...
No. You've got it almost there anyway as a driving club. It's just what we're trying to see is more effect off the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's come out nice. So just swinging just short of D1. Start point, I put steel fibre. You know what was in your driving irons, only it's now a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Yeah. TSR2 head, 4 hybrid, 21 loft essentially, but I've made it a little bit flatter as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lie angle is a little bit flatter than standard.
Yeah.
It's a start point. Let's see what sort of numbers we can get with this. Let's do it. if you had to rate that shot 1 to 10,
First and the second one,
second one,
not about 6.
right? If you'd have done that a 6 out of 10 with your iron, yeah, just bear that in mind. That still picked up 182 carry, 197 total, yeah.
Could do with a more forgiving screen, I think, Mark. I don't like these trees on the left.
See, in many respects, I think if it was set up just a fraction better again, what I see is, like that first shot, I'll give you an example, right?
Where's the first one? That green one?
Yeah.
There.
So that's carried nearly 200 yards. It's almost gone too far. And in flight terms, it's not done quite what I wanted to achieve to give you a slightly softer landing. Yeah. What I want to do, believe it or not, is de-loft a 5 head that in turn is going to get the start point further right, and it's going to get the loft. That's 21 degrees. It's all well and good if I add loft to that now, fine, but it's going to sit closed. I see that being detrimental. I like the idea of taking loft off of a high lofted hybrid, because it don't matter what it says on it. If it says 500, if it gives you a 4-iron number,
Yeah, sure.
and that was quite a nice shot. A little bit left again,
Yeah.
but yes, picked up 199 carry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings a bit more to the table, doesn't it?
It's a bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, pass it back. It's just where this number can be. If it's too soft a flight, it's too soft a flight. But it could be perfect. Because what you would like to see as a number, in my view, is a 190 carry landing a bit softer.
Yeah.
And with forgiveness. Something a bit more repetitive, yeah?
Yeah, and then something else 15 yards higher, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all we're really doing is, it's a de-lofted 5 hybrid as opposed to the standard 21. Have a look at that number.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So that's got it's not weak in carry terms, but you got the height and it's landing softer. If you look at your differential here, yeah, you got more spin on it.
Yeah.
Can't fault the way you've hit that, but in height terms, when was the last time you hit a 4-iron 96 feet? Yeah?
Never.
This is a classic case where companies put club numbers to replace the iron, and they're not always doing the job they're supposed to be.
Bit left, that wasn't too bad.
But it's not weaker in carry, it's stronger in carry but softer landing. you have to say if it's shut, it's going to be lower flight, but that's still got more height on it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Not quite, but it still perform. Yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay. That sounded particularly good.
Yeah, I tried to push it the other way.
So pass that back. We're going to play around with the shaft a bit. But what we have learned, a de-lofted 5, in loft terms, is essentially turning that head into a 23 degree, which is what you've got in your 4-iron. But the way you use that 23 degrees on a hybrid and the way you use 23 degrees on the driving iron are two different things. Yeah? Guarantees more carry, but lands softer at the end of it. I mean, white does beat red, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Where's the shaft I brought? Yeah. A little bit of an upgrade. Try something.
Okay.
It's one of the Fujikura hybrids. This is the Motore Motore X, but it's their hybrid version. 7S, which I see is quite a nice weight for you.
Okay.
Let's compare that. Again, classic case. How would you rate that strike in a one?
Quite like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, quite like that. I knew that was going to
I
be good.
thought you got a little bit of ground.
Did I, yeah? I knew it was going to be all right on the screen.
Yeah. Start point looked better.
Not bad.
You'd take that all day.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This is a much better start point. What's the number? If ever there's a case of not needing any stronger loft, it's there in a nutshell. Look at the carry.
Yeah, I like
But-
the feel of that.
But landing softer, yeah? 91 feet. A little bit, slight miss.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I don't think that'll be that bad.
No, he still picked up nearly a 190 carry off it. But it's not your best moment.
No.
Can you, I don't want to, without sounding like I'm repeating myself, can you just go down the shaft a fraction for me? Only because this is a reasonably long build length for that 4-5 head
It's
anyway.
weird that I've got that habit, isn't it?
Yeah, it does worry me a bit because it doesn't look stable. Very steady this though. See where you hit that on the head. Yeah, not too bad. A little bit hillside,
Bit
but
hill.
still take that though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That looks a bit further left, that.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, that. I think that came out the back.
Yeah, yeah, more in the heel there.
Yeah.
That's the first number that's what I would say is a slight letdown.
It
Up
was
until that point.
poor strike, that one, I'd say. That was right off the bat, wasn't it?
Right out the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great feeling for you is if you felt an impact. You know your back of your left hand.
Yeah.
If you felt like you're hitting the ball more with the back of the left hand, where it just collapses and shuts a little bit, just feel like it's a little bit more solid. Yeah, rather than that. Yeah. What comes with that, Richard? What comes with that is the softening and bend, bowing in that wrist.
I think that feels really odd now there, that I've got the club down there. I think let's try and get hold of one properly.
That was a good direction. Not the best contact, but looked decent. Now I know you can move it quicker than that because that's your 6-iron speed. Yeah. So let's just be a little bit more positive and freewheel it a bit more. Right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try one more shaft.
Okay.
And then I'm going to introduce one or two other heads as a comparison as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Might just come across slightly lighter balance and just a little bit more manageable. Sorry. There you go. This is Mitsubishi C6 hybrid shaft here. In that similar sort of weight category, 70 plus gram. That's a nice move. Should be a nice direction on that. Oh. Probably felt okay, that.
It did, yeah, it did.
Yeah. Don't think the strike's as good with this though. I actually, do you know what, in looking at the numbers, you would probably say, I don't think we had it far wrong with that.
So was that one?
That was the
First
steel fibre.
That's what's on that, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's an 85 in your driving iron. This is the 70.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a 75 gram, but they call it the I-70. I'm just looking at that shot. I'm looking at, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the most cost effective.
That always helps, isn't it?
Well, what I want to probably do is compare one or two heads that I think could be a good try.
Okay.
Compared to that Titleist TSR2 that you got there. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see this sort of route as a positive?
Oh, I'm open to anything. Like I said, I think I definitely something that's I can use off the ground or out the
The
rough.
bottom line is, no matter how good the club is, there's always, you've got to put a half decent pass at it. But what I will say, for anything that was a similar pass at it with that, compared to the driving iron, there was definitely more height.
Yeah, I need something that's like a lot more forgiving and easy to hit. I mean, I was up in North Berwick last week and I hit my best shot of the weekend with that 4-iron, but it was the only good one that I hit with it.
Yeah, but it's like that one here. I said you've got to give. It's so dependent on you giving me a good face angle.
Yeah.
I'm having joy here. There you go. Must go down the shaft though, because this is a long, for what hybrid you got there. This is longer than the build length would be in the final build.
I've got myself into that habit really.
Yeah, this is more to do with the length of the club anyway.
Yeah,
whereas
sure.
before it's just to have it at the right length of club. Get better start than that. How good a head is this? That was so clever.
Bit fat, yeah.
Those first two were impressive though. That's a beautiful direction. Loving life.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's all I can say is loving life.
Lot easier that.
Like a numpty, I'm playing catch up here. I'm done. all day, all day. Different level. Have a look at these. Right? Look at that dispersion for a start. Yeah?
Yeah, they're nice.
Really lovely. Ball speed, much better.
Yep.
Sounded better.
Yep.
Believe it or not, that head, that's 5 hybrid. I've only de-lofted that one. So it's actually a 25 loft. But what it gives you, essentially with that 195 carry, we're tighter here.
Yep.
We've got a height of 99 feet. When was that? Look, you see the pink at the top here, look.
Yep.
It's not weaker, it's just better. High launch spin is not a high spin, it's just a good spin. The ball speed is up with that as well.
Yes.
And I think it's also justification in that shaft. Because the shaft, I said to you, it looked like probably the best dispersion with the Titleist head, but those numbers look a little bit different.
Yep.
You look confident with that.
Yeah, yeah. Feels nice.
He just gave that a little tap. Well, look, you know, what looked like a little tap, but it's carried 192. It's in that same ring,
Yep.
you know. The little trick with that head, and this is where I think that's a great head for you. I'll go back to the story of the lie angle, the requirement of lie angle. You can dismiss a lot of the hybrid makes for you because they'll either give you standard lie, which is already upright, and the draw setting, which is even more upright.
Yeah.
What are the two brands that offer flatter lie rather than more upright lie? Well, it's Titleist and it's Ping. Yeah? And that's why I've given you those two. Because I don't want to encourage left.
No.
I want to encourage start point further right, don't I?
Yep.
So I've put that in a flat lie position for you for that reason. I mean, that's world class now. World class.
Yep. Happy with that.
That is a sexy change.
Yep.
Now, can you imagine, picture yourself, 200 out, landing it in front of the pin, stopping it, yeah?
Yeah, well, as I said, that 5 is about 180, 185 on a good day, so
That's a different number.
just got nothing in between.
But it also goes to show you that there lies something that's only 2 degrees stronger loft than your current 5-iron. But because of the face performance, the modern tech off that head,
Yep.
you've got all the ball speed, yeah? But you're utilising that loft.
Yeah, I think
A 4 hybrid acts as your 3.
Yep.
The 5 hybrid in the setting of 1 degree less loft and the flat lie angle, as I've put that there, yeah?
Yep.
But that's a proper change,
Yep. Yeah, that feels good.
yeah?
You've done well there.
Now, what I will do, I'll pop the 4 head on just to see where that needs to be positioned as a setting, but it has to be in that flat lie angle.
And you think I'm better off with something like those two rather than, say, I don't know, a 7 wood or a 5 wood? Just a bit of difference.
I think it's the better middle ground, because if you're going to go to fairway woods, you're going to gain another 2 inches in the shaft like for like. Say a 7 wood would be around about 41.5 inches long. The equivalent, say, 4 hybrid would be at 39.5. There's your 2 inches. I think you, for me, I always get the feeling that you'll control the shorter clubs better than if it got longer. Yeah?
Okay.
So I'm not going to de-loft this. There's 4 degrees difference between the two hybrids on this particular model. So it's 22 and 26.
Okay.
There's a real story about de-lofting the 5,
5, yeah.
whereas I don't think you want to be any stronger than 22 for this next number.
Okay.
You can play this pretty much as is, because it's 1 club longer. This is nearer to the length the final club would be.
Looking at where these two are, it's just been a case of coming back a bit, a bit more room,
Good bad one, I think.
using the space to get that into
Yeah. It's sort of that's equivalent to the better number with the 5. Yeah. A little bit low on the head, so it spun up a bit.
That felt good.
So there's somewhat concern here.
No, I tried to do that.
Huh?
I tried to do that.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, my concern is that I want this, in an ideal world, I want the carry to go up.
Oh, and it's not.
I want the total distance to go up.
Yeah.
If I just remove some of this information, we don't need your 4-iron numbers there anymore.
Yeah, I did try and hit that one right.
Hit some more, but I'm.
That's better.
That was a really good pass. That looked good swing-wise. I don't think you can swing any better than that. You're swinging well now. That is what I want. What you've just done there, I can say confidently it goes further when you hit it properly. Yeah?
Not much in it though, is there?
Well, the way you got to look at it, you know these two here, the miss is more, or let's say the slightly lesser shot is more the 5 hybrid number as an average, yeah? What you've got on you sort of hit a purple patch here now, because the last 3 shots look so much better, don't they?
Yeah.
So let's take that one out. That's a little bit left for the purpose.
But yeah, I mean,
what you got really, as an average, with the 5, 194, 195, that's just where we want it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, agreed.
On the better one here, 203.5 with a little bit stronger flight with the stronger loft. You've still got nearly 90 feet of height on this, which is the nice bit.
Yeah.
Yeah? But you can see the difference in height.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But even the lower set there is still averaging just short of 90 feet. You're beginning to really swing well here. based on what you just achieved over those last 4 shots, I was concerned that you weren't giving me enough as a number, but you are now. Yeah? Slightly less than one, but this would be okay.
Not quite as good, that.
But even that's gone further than the other. Yeah? So when you look at it in terms of the last 5 shots,
Yeah.
what we have got,
Pretty good dispersion as well, right?
we've got a 10-yard differential as carry on the 2, with a little bit more rollout with that.
Yeah.
So there's probably more, say, 12, 13 between them as a total. Yeah?
Yep. About right, or we're looking for a bit more, do you think?
No, definitely not more. But you want it replacing an iron, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want big gaps.
No.
That's your best swing today. 205 carry, absolutely on the money as far as I'm concerned. If you look at that being exactly 10 yards as a carry with a little bit stronger flight, but look, you can't hit me a 4-iron like that, can you?
Well, that's the 3-iron, really, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
The 4 hybrid is your 3-iron replacement. The 5 hybrid is your 4-iron replacement, but the 5 needs to be de-lofted.
Yeah.
You don't need that any stronger. Yeah?
Yeah.
Therefore, there's 3 degrees difference in loft between the 2. Both in the flat lie angle.
Pulled it a bit.
A little bit left. Strong strike, but a little bit left. That's the only thing I would say if I was going to work. You need to just work on that face angle at impact, because it's the one thing that can let you down. You can get very good strikes at times, but not using it to your best effect.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Not quite good, that.
So a good feeling, what I'm going to say, because that was 3 degrees up, you bottomed out. Essentially, you probably hit that low point, was about that far behind the ball. What I want you to try and do this one, not try and hit it high, I want you to hit it low and right, yeah? So to keep the ball down and try and hit it low right. That's it. So you got that shot in the locker as well, yeah?
How was that?
Well, you kept the height off of it.
Yeah.
I've done it for a reason, because the more you get that angle of attack in a good place, you hold off the face angle as well, yeah? But you know, say for instance you're playing it from 200 knot out into a breeze, that's the feeling there.
Yeah.
Very good. So it's not like if you had to hit a low one, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bit
Yeah, I guess that's
chompy.
the only concern, isn't it?
Huh?
I guess that's the only concern, hitting it so high. That's the only concern with hitting it so high.
But that's why I
if
got you
can't-
to hit that
Yeah,
shot.
sure.
You
No, I
know,
understand.
you found me 50 foot in height trying to hit a low
Yeah.
low one. You know, you've got it in the locker, but you only fall on that maybe 1 in 20. Yeah?
Yeah.
If the spin rates were up in the heavens, it becomes less capacity, but the spin is already in a good place.
I mean, look, for a 3-iron replacement, I'm hitting that quite nicely, right?
Well, I'd like to think the confidence levels are in a
Yeah,
slightly
massive.
different place, aren't they?
Massive.
Definitely just those last couple have just got that little later. It's just,
Just tried to hit that the other way. Didn't quite get it, did I?
Well, the path was there, the face just weren't quite. Face was essentially square to that path, so it was more a straight left. Need to really just point your feet further left. That's it. And just feel yourself working it across it a bit more. Yeah?
Yeah, that should turn. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd no chance of shaping that free iron either.
No. Once you get the confidence with that club, you, like for instance there, you could do it again. If you're going to hit that shot, you've got to aim those feet further left.
No, I was trying the other way. But
Yeah, all right. There she is.
yeah, should go.
Should move. Yeah? Look at that, trick shots now. Trick shots from 190.
Yeah, very good.
What did you try and do there?
It's gone too far left, huh?
You tried to hit the draw.
Yeah, it came off the heel, didn't it?
Uh,
I feel that came out of the back, didn't it?
yeah,
No?
not really. Not really. Path was stronger out into out, but face was just a bit too strong. That will be more effective.
Yeah.
That's your low draw. That's that shot I was getting you to it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good change?
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
But there was logic to why I chose Titleist. Obviously, there's a story of the carryover of what you've had in the past, but
Yeah, but
I wanted to pinpoint
not worried
heads
about the,
that are
round.
good, very good performance heads, but with lie angles that can be made flatter, getting your start point generally a little bit further right,
Yep.
encouraging the more centre hit. Give you an example, like if it was a Callaway hybrid. That's all right. It's the Callaway hybrids, right? Start point is upright, and then more upright, and then anything like a Stealth 2, standard Stealth 2 is a bonded hosel without adjustment, so you haven't got that capability anyway. And it is, again, the start point is a reasonably upright lie. Those are detrimental because all you're going to see is left. I want anything with the capacity to get that lie down for you, get that start point further right. But those two heads are the obvious heads. There's nothing really comparable. And they're both really good. But for me, the ping blew the Titleist away on that.
Yeah,
occasion.
I'm for me. Yeah.
And it's a good feeling head as well. Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Good job, I think.
Let me just make a note of all that.